quick video on 1976 FJ40 with the 2F doing a sniper electronic fuel injection install. And I just want to do an overview of what I did. This isn't really a how-to. This is how did I do it. And just if you have thoughts of wanting to do it and what's really entailed in doing it, this is that video. So I'll try and make it quick. So here we have the stock 2F with the sniper installed. I'm getting ready to button it up today, so I want to shoot this video before I put it, because the air cleaner really covers a lot of these trucks. So here you have your sniper EFI unit, the 2300 2-barrel. Below that, there's an aluminum spacer right there, which I believe was made by Mr. Gasket. It came in the Mosley kit. We used the Mosley kit. This is the Mosley kit right here and everything it comes with. They kind of just pieced together everything that it would take to do these kits. So this aluminum plate comes in the Mosley kit, and then below that is the stock spacer, and then below that is the heat shield. The heat shield does not come in the kit, even though there's a picture of it, and I felt like it was supposed to, but it didn't come in the kit. So anyways, this is just 16 gauge steel, flat piece of steel, a hole drilled right here, and a hole drilled right there, and then that creates your heat shield. So your heat shield goes on, then your stock spacer goes on, then your aluminum spacer goes on, then the sniper all bolts together, and that completes the mounting of it. This big aluminum adapter comes also in the Mosley kit, and this allows you to retain your stock air cleaner setup if you want to do that by choice. Okay, so that's how you mount the sniper, and then the order it's all mounted in. Then for the throttle cable, down here is the firewall throttle cable. As you can see, this is stock. Oh, I'm blocking it. There we go. So that's the stock throttle pedal. You just drill out the ball and pin that's in there, and then that allows this to clamp on there. It goes down and it comes around. And I believe there was a second bracket that came in the Mosley kit, and I believe it was supposed to like go here or something, but I couldn't ever figure out the geometry for it to work. So I ended up creating my own, and that's what this is. This is a Red's Custom Special throttle cable right here. Using the low car cable that came in the kit, I built this bracket, and then that's how I'm getting the throttle cable to work. And that's for the throttle cable. On the intake manifold for the vacuum, you don't want to use, and you don't want to have any vacuums coming off of your intake manifold anymore. You really want to pull them off of the sniper unit. They give you plenty of options to run vacuum lines, and the reason why is because these vacuums are metered by the unit. If you had vacuums still coming off your intake manifold, they will not be metered by that unit. So this one is for now the brake booster. It used to come over and go into the top, I believe, here. So I also capped off this vacuum line right here that had some vacuum lines going to it. And then right here, there was a big valve that had some vacuum lines going to it. So eliminate all that. So now we just have the brake booster coming straight off here into the sniper. And then the other one is for the distributor vacuum advance, and it's labeled distributor vacuum advance is this port, and then this is just a common vacuum port over here, but I'm not using that one. So all right, and then over here the wiring, so the two temp sensors that are on these engines, this one right here closest to the firewall is for your gauge cluster, and then this one was for the EFI system computer, I believe they said. And so I just eliminated that one, and then now I got an adapter, I think it's an M16 by 1.5 to 3/8 MPT to get the coolant sensor in there. And then all the wiring goes back there under the brake booster. One wire goes down to the oxygen sensor, the rest go underneath the brake booster. Come up right here, all your connectors, all my connectors are right here. I had to lengthen the harnesses to get this to work correctly, but it kind of hit it all, it goes through here. So you only have 5 wires to make this system really work. The pink wire goes through the firewall straight down into the fuse panel. That's where I'm picking up the keyed ignition and 12-volt while cranking post. That's very critical. And then there's 4 wires that go all the way across: red, black, blue, and yellow. Red and black go all the way across out and to the battery. Blue goes all the way across and down to the fuel pump. And then yellow goes all the way across and goes to the new HEI distributor. On this one, for the fuel system, we're only using the fuel inlet high pressure line. The return is capped off here. Well, I'll show you in a second, but we're using a Corvette style filter regulator. And so we don't need the return line here. We're using the return line at the filter itself. So I have the hard line that came in the Mosley kit routed, and this does need to be bent and modified and changed to make it work. It was nowhere near close of that, but it does work now. And then I just ran the vacuum advance along it as well. So over here, you have the hard line and the vacuum advance come down. I also, you can see the block off plate that also comes in the Mosley kit for the fuel pump. So the mechanical fuel pump is just removed. And then this line basically picks up where the stock configuration was for fuel lines right there. The HEI distributor is here. I'll try and get a little shot of it. Comes with a clamp. So we've got the HEI distributor, HEI plugs, HEI plug wires. All of the ignition is upgraded. The fuel system down here, I retained the stock fuel system. So here we have the stock pre-filter. It comes out of the tank through the stock pre-filter into the bottom of the inline fuel pump right there, through the inline fuel pump, out of the inline fuel pump into the filter regulator, and then out of the filter regulator comes around and goes to that hard line right there. And then this is the return right here out of the filter regulator, and it goes down and picks up the stock hard lines right there back to the tank. So the fuel system is pretty easy. Power negative over there. And there's 2 studs that are in the block that hold the coolant hard line right there. That stud has to be removed and a bolt put in. This stud, I retained this stud because I wanted to put a clamp here for the new heater hose. So this 3/4 heater hose now just runs through here. Still goes to the stock configuration right there. And then the handheld, you put the handheld wherever you want. We put the handheld in the glove box. It's mounted right there. Right now I just have it sitting on the dash so I can see it, but the owner wanted it hidden out of the way, so it's in there. So yeah, I think that covers it all. I would say when you're doing the timing, you want to make sure that you start with the ball. So how to set the timing: pull the number 1 spark plug, crank the engine over, put your finger in the hole, and when your finger's pressurized, then you know it's coming up on compression stroke. When it's coming up on compression stroke, in the timing hole right there above the starter, you will see a silver button come first, and then you'll see a line come after that. The line after that is the top dead center. The silver button is 7 degrees before top dead center, and that's what they recommend you to time these engines on. Start there at the button, but you're probably going to end up around 8 or 9 degrees to get it really smoothed out. And then the distributor is, with your vacuum advance, you got to be careful of where you land it. But this is where I found the perfect spot right here, because the screw cap right there, it can't rotate to the right, but it can rotate to the left. So we can advance it more, but we really can't retard it more. And that's fine. We don't need that. So anyways, I hope that helps somebody. If you have any questions, again, hit me up. I'll answer all the questions I can. I'm not trying to gatekeep anything, but don't want to make it one of those videos that it's just simple. This is a good overview of, just so you know, if you're wanting to go down this road, this would cost. So there's 3 things you need. You need a kit that kind of puts together all these little pieces, and there's a couple places you can do that, whether it be Mosley, Redline, Maybe there's somebody else. But those two places can put all the kits together of all the pieces you need to put it together. The Holley Sniper is usually the cheapest, getting it from Summit. And then the third thing you need is the HEI distributor, plugs and wires. We got that from Redline. But there's a couple places that make a drop-in HEI distributor for these as well. So you need an ignition system, you need the sniper, and then you need an install kit. With those three things, it's pretty easy. It's not pretty easy. I mean, everything has to be, modify this, change this, grind this, But, none of it actually just bolts on. But except for the sniper bolting to the bracket, I guess. But anyways, have any questions, hit me up. God bless. Have a great day.